right, less than or equal to. So when x can be -1 and can be 2, we use bracket to indicate that. All right. We indicate this is an interval, all real numbers from -1 up to 2, including -1, including 2. Or maybe like this one not including 1, but including 2. And this one including -1, but not including 2. Right, so we use these interval notations. Because I believe my open math homework will use these interval notations. And we call this a set notation. Let's see some examples. We're less than 3, less than 9. Right? We can add the numbers on both sides. Okay. All right. If you have a problem with your Wi-Fi, you can always go back to watch because every class will be recorded. Okay. Make sure you watch the recordings, you understand the material, you're able to do your homework, and later on, you also have quiz, have exams. So that's less than, this is greater than. Okay, with inequalities, we can add two numbers on both sides. We can subtract numbers on both sides, all right? And that same for adding and subtraction, it's the same as equation. But it's different when we multiply by a negative number. If we multiply both sides by a positive number, that's okay. Okay, let's just do one. Let's say -2 multiplied by +2, +3. Let's do 3. It's still less than, we keep the sign. It's still less than 9 times 3. Same thing for division. If we multiply or divide by a positive number, it's the same as equation. Nothing gets changed. And the statement is still true, right? -6 less than 27. But if we multiply by a negative number or divide by a negative number, that will change the signs. That requires a change in sign. So if we multiply -1 on both sides, if we don't change the sign less than, we see the left-hand side becomes +2, the left-hand side becomes 9. So +2 less than 9, -9, that doesn't make sense. So that requires us to switch the less than sign to be greater than sign. So that's the only difference between solving equalities and inequalities. Okay, only when we divide or multiply by a negative number, we switch the sign. That's the only difference. Let's see this example. 6f minus 19 greater than or equal to -1. So what do? We want to add 19 on both sides, right? So we add 19 on both sides, -1, add 9, add positive, we add positive 9, or we can think of move. We move this -19 from left-hand side to right-hand side, become positive. So positive 19 minus 1 becomes 18. Now we have 6f greater than or equal to 18. We can divide by 6. Well, 6 is a positive number. We don't have to change anything. So 18 divided by 6, that's 3. So the solution is any number greater than or equal to 3. I'm going to change this f to be x. Because usually we use f to represent a function. So the variable is greater than or equal to 3. So how do we use interval notation? So this is set notation. When we say x greater than or equal to 3, that's a set notation. A set notation. We want to change it to be interval notation. So bracket, then 3, comma to infinity, open parenthesis, close parenthesis. Well, let's see this example. 10 minus 3x greater than or equal to 2. Well, we want to minus 10 on both sides. Right? 2 minus 10, that's negative 8. So negative 3x greater than or equal to negative 8. So we want to divide both sides by negative 3. Right? By negative 3. Then we have to switch the sign from greater than or equal to less than or equal to. The negative 8 divided by negative 3, that's just 8 divided by 3. So the solution is this, or we use interval notation. We need to use interval notation. We see x is less than, that means starting from negative infinity up to 8 over 3 with a bracket, because we have equal sign there. Okay, so the solution for this inequality is all numbers less than or equal to 8 over 3. If anyone has any questions, feel free to stop me at any time. Well, let's see this example. This example, we have 14c plus 5 less than negative 15 plus 10c. So like equations, we can move around, right? So we move 10c to the left-hand side. It becomes negative 10c. So 14c minus 10c, that's 4c. At the same time, I will move this 5 from left-hand side to the right-hand side. Well, positive becomes negative. Negative 15 minus 5 becomes negative 20. Right? Then what do? We divide by 4. We divide by 4 on both sides. 4 is positive. We don't have to switch the sign. Negative 20 divided by 4, that's negative 5. And we use the interval notation. So that's negative infinity up to negative 5, but not including negative 5 because we don't have equal sign. We just have less than. Right? Then we use close parentheses. So that's a solution. Well, let's see, this one involves fractions. Same as solving inequalities, right? The equations. We could get rid of the denominator. So total we have 4 terms. 34 divided by 3 is 1 term. Negative 2x is 1 term. So 2 terms on the left-hand side. Negative 4, positive 5 over 6x, 2 terms on the right-hand side. We want to multiply all the 4 terms by 6 to get rid of the denominator. So we don't have to deal with fractions. So 34 multiplied by 6, then divided by 3, right? 6 divided by 3, that's 2. 2 times 34, that's 68. Then negative 2 times 6, that's negative 12x. Negative 4 times 6, that's negative 24. 5 over 6x times 6, that's just 5x. So we use this method to get rid of the denominators, so we don't have to deal with fractions. Then we move around things. Right? We move 5x. We move 5x to the other side, becomes negative 5x, or negative 12, negative 5, that's negative 17. Then same time, we'll move 68 to the other side. 68 positive, move to the right-hand side, becomes negative. Negative 68 minus 24, well, that's negative 92. Right? Then we divide by negative 17 on both sides. And this time we're dividing by a negative number, dividing by negative 17. So we got to switch the signs. The sign from greater than becomes less than. Right? What's the answer? The answer is negative 19 divided by negative 17. That's the same as positive 92 divided by 17. We use interval notation to indicate from negative infinity up to 92 divided by 17. not including, so we'll use close parenthesis. Pretty straightforward, right? Let's see this is how we translate.
Professor, before you move on, can you just go over one more time, like when you use the bracket or the parenthesis? Because I don't think I really understand that.
Okay, let's go back here. So when x is less than 2, greater than -1, you see no equal sign in the less than, right? Okay,
Yeah.
first you see the two difference, right? This is less than, this is less than or equal to.
Okay.
If it's only less than or greater than, we use parentheses, open parentheses, close parentheses, to indicate the value of x cannot be -1, cannot be 2.
Oh,
Because
and then if
x
it can be, that's when we use the bracket.
exactly.
Okay.
When we have equal sign, we use bracket.
Okay.
You see this one. You see this one can be equal to 2, so we use bracket on the side of 2.
And then okay, I see it now. Okay, thank you, Professor.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Great. So let's see how do we translate phrases into inequality equations. So is greater than, right? Is greater than means this sign. Greater than, more than, larger than, exceeds. All right, so those all means this sign. Greater than or equal to. Now we see equal to. Is at least, this is a tricky one. At least something. All right, at least means greater than or equal to. Is no less than. Is no less than. You see, no is a negation, less than is a negation, it's like a double negation. So it has to be greater than or equal to. No less than. Is a minimum. Is a minimum. So it's similar to is at least. So that means greater than or equal to. Let's see, this is less than. It's less than, is smaller than, has fewer than, is lower than, and less than or equal to. So less than or equal to is at the most. Is at the most. Right? At the most. So it means the number on the right hand side is the biggest. At the most, it has to be less than or equal to. It's no more than, right? No more than, you know, opposite to no less than. Is the maximum opposite to like the minimum. So some number is the maximum. So all the rest of numbers has to be less than or equal to it. Let's see this example. 8. 27 less than x is at least 48. 27, well, we know the number 27. Less than x, so x has to appear first. That means x minus 27 is at least. Is at least. Is at least means it can be bigger than, right? Can be bigger than or equal to. Is at least 48. 19 less than p is no less than 47. 19 less than p is no less than. Is no less than means it has to be greater than or equal to 47. 4 more than 8, 8 plus 4, right? It's at the most 15. It cannot be bigger than 15. It's at the most 15. Let's see with word problems. John gets a gift card with a value of $45 to buy music online. So he only has $45, right? He cannot spend more than $45. He can spend at the most $45. Songs cost $1.35 each. Right? So depends on how many songs he will buy, but each one costs him $1.35. So question, what is the maximum number of songs he may be purchased by using this $45 gift card? Right? So let's make a variable first. Let's call the number of songs he could buy. Let's call it n. You can call n, you can call x, or you can call any letters, that's fine, right? So let's see, assume he can buy at the most n songs, right? So how much will it cost him? Because each one costs $1.35. For n songs, that would be $1.35 multiplied by n, right? So this would be the cost of the songs he buys. But this one, the cost cannot be more than 45, which means at the most 45. It can be exactly even to $45, that's okay. Or it can be less than $45, right? He just cannot spend more than $45. So that means less than or equal to 45. So we just divide both sides by 1.35, right? So n, that means n is less than or equal to 45 divided by 1.35. So if we don't use a calculator, how do we divide those two numbers? Well, 45 divided by 1.35, we can multiply 100 over 100. So we multiply by 1 with the fraction. This one is 100 over 100. 45 times 100 will be 45,000. 1.35 times 100 will be 135. In this case, we don't see decimals anymore. That's how we get rid of decimals in fraction. Then we can simplify, right? We see common factor is 5. So we divide by 5. Numerator will get 900. Denominator will get 27. Then we see 3 or 9. 9 is a common factor of the numerator and denominator. So we divide by 9. So then we get 100 over 3. 100 over 3 is easy to calculate, right? We can calculate it with our head. We don't use calculators. This is 33.33, so on. So how do we answer the question? We see, okay, at the most, he can buy at the most 33 songs. Okay? He cannot buy 34 songs. He can buy at the most 33 songs. Any questions? Ajeda, do you have any question? If you do have a question, you can type in. If you have mic problem, you can type in the chat.
Professor, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yay. Okay. So clarify. When you have decimals, you have to change them so that they can become fractions so the equation is easier, or can you leave it as decimal?
You can leave it as decimal, but when you answer the question, because this is the application question, right? It doesn't exist 33.333 songs. So we have to run down. We have to run to 33.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So let's see this one. Mabel owns a dog walking business. She charges $28 for each 1.5 hour dog walk. All right. So $28 for each 1.5 hours. And her monthly expenses $1,205. So how many dogs must you walk to make a profit at least this much? To make a profit of at least $3,805. Let's name the variable first. Right. First, let's call D. Let's call D be the number of dogs he has to walk. Okay. Let D be the number of dogs. Number of dogs she has to walk. So D represents how many dogs she has to walk to make the profit. The second step would be form an inequality, right? Not form an equation, form an inequality. In terms of variable D. So $28 for one, well, let's not care about 1.5, right? So one and a half hours dog walk, we don't really care at this moment. We only care about how many dogs, you know. So $28 times the number of dogs, 28. So each dog costs $28. So 28 times the number of dogs she walks, that would be how much money she makes. Right, she makes. And her expenses monthly is $1,205. And she wants to make a profit $3,805. So we have to add those two numbers. We have to add these two numbers. So she needs to cover her expenses and make a profit of this much. So we try to solve this inequality. We'll solve for the variable D. Well, 1205 plus 3805 would get $5,010. $5,010. And if we want to simplify, we just simplify. We say, oh, okay, this is divided by. So we just do D divided by 28. D is greater than or equal to. Let's do this. 5010 divided by 28. You could just use your calculators, okay, at this point, because this is a big number. That means D has to be greater than 178.92. And in this case, do you see we need to round up? When the last question, when John buys for the sons, he only has $45. You know, we have to round it down to 33. Because if we round it up for 34 sons, he doesn't have that much money to buy. So we have to round it down. He may save some money. He may have some money left. That's okay. But for this one, because this is making at least this much, so she could make more. Mabel can make more money. Right? So that's why here we round it up. So number of dogs she walks, you know, she can walk more dogs to make more money, right? Our case, we will consider at least. So this one we round it up. We say, okay, she must walk at least 179 dogs to make that profit. If she only walks 178 dogs, she won't be able to make $3,805 in profit. So she has to walk at least 179 dogs to make that kind of profit. You know, she may make more money, but at least makes this much. So we'll see how in applications we round it up or round it down. Anyone has any questions? Okay, let's see next example. Kim is making 8 gallons of punch from juice and soda. Okay, 2 ingredients, juice and soda. The juice costs $6.04 per gallon, and soda costs $4.28 per gallon. So question, how many gallons of juice and how many gallons of soda should she use so the punch costs no more than $5.71 per gallon? Again, first step, name the variable. Okay, first step, always name the variable. So because this is asking for how many gallons of juice and how many gallons of soda, so we're going to call the gallons of juice, number of gallons of juice, J. Call the number of gallons of soda, S. Okay. So J represents gallons, how many gallons of juice. S represents how many gallons of soda. So you see, how do we name the variable? Depends on the question. Depends on the question, right? Now with these variables, we know $6.04 per gallon for soda. Oh no, for juice. The juice costs $6.04. A soda costs $4.28. Now you will put this together. So $6.04 multiplied by the number of gallons of juice. That's how much money will be spent on juice. Similarly, $4.28 multiplied by S gallons of soda. That will be the money spent on soda. So those two adding together cannot be more than $5.71. That means less than or equal to. Less than or equal to 5.71 multiplied by how many gallons? 8 gallons, right? Because he wants to make 8 gallons of a punch, but he doesn't want the cost of the punch, each gallon, to be more than $5.71. So we have made an inequality. The left-hand side is how much money Kim will spend. The right-hand side is his ideal. He can make 8 gallons of punch, but the dollar cost won't be more than $5.71 each gallon. That's why no more than means less than or equal to. Okay. Now let's see, how do we solve this inequality? We have 2 variables. We have J, we have S, right? Well, let's simplify it. Let's simplify it. First, maybe we want to get rid of the decimals. We want to get rid of the decimals. Or maybe you want to multiply those 2 numbers first. Right? Then get rid of the decimals. How do we get rid of these decimals? We see decimal places are 2 places. So let's multiply by 100. So each term will have 3 terms. 1, 2, 3. So 3 terms, all multiplied by 100. So the first term, 6.04 multiplied by 100 to be 604J. 4.28S multiplied by 100 becomes 428S. Then this one multiplied by 100 becomes 4,568. Then we see every number, 604, 428, 4568, even number, so we can divide by 2. We divide by 2, 302, 214, 2284, all 3 numbers, also even numbers. Let's divide by 2 again. So 151J plus 107S, that's all equal to 1142. Now, the many solutions for this, right? The many solutions. So if we draw this one, we know we can draw a line that less than or equal to the underneath line, right? We have infinite many solutions for this. We have infinite many solutions for this inequality. Right. Maybe we just pick one of it, pick one of the easy one. So we may choose a value for j. Let me actually write down here. There are infinite many solutions for this inequality, for this linear inequality with two variables. So we can choose a value for j. Or for s, doesn't matter, because we only want to have one solution. We may choose a value for j, or for s, and doesn't matter which value we choose, we just choose a convenient one. So we may choose a value for j or for s, then to solve for s or for j. So let's see the first one. We choose a value for j, then solve for s, or choose a value for s, then solve for j, or choose a value for s, then solve either way. Okay, so let's see j. So if j, let j be 5, right? We can choose any convenient number. If j is 5, we use this inequality. Okay, we work with this inequality. Or you could work with the beginning one. You could work with the beginning one by using calculators. All right. Then let j be 5. We work with this one. Let me use blue color. Then we have a 151j. 151j equals 151 times 5, which is 755. So that means 755 plus 107s less than or equal to 1142. Or we subtract 755 on both sides. We get this inequality. Then we just divide both sides by 107 using calculator. So s is less than or equal to 3.62. All right. So this is one of the solutions. So one of the solutions could be, one of the solutions can be this, right? 5 gallons of juice and 3.62 gallons soda. So this is my choice because I choose j to be 5. Whatever infinite many solutions for this, you may choose another number for s or for j, okay? Anyone has any questions? That's about solving for inequalities. Any comments or questions?
Why exactly did you choose the number 5?
Just for convenience. I could choose for 10. I could choose for 3. I could choose for 1. I just happen to choose for 5. Okay. Any other questions?
Wait, Professor, why did you divide both sides by 2?
Oh, because because for my personally, I don't like to use calculators. So first I multiply by 100 with each term. Then I observe these numbers. I see all those numbers are even numbers, right? Because I want to simplify this inequality. So I divide by 2. I want to make the numbers smaller. I want to make the numbers smaller. Okay. Any other questions? So if this is not an inequality, if this is an equal sign, do you see this is a line, a straight line, right? We have 2 variables, and 2 variables, the exponent of 2 variables is first power. So if you could think of this as 604y plus 4.28x equals to 5.71 times a, right? It's a linear equation which represents a straight line. And with less than or equal to sign, that means all under the line. All the points under the line, how many? There are infinitely many. So I just pick one. Because it only needs one solution, right? It only says, you know, how many gallons of juice, how many gallons of soda should she buy or could she buy, right? I just need to find one of the solutions. There are infinitely many solutions. So that's the inequalities. And just be careful with the wording when translate. How's everyone's homework going? Let me check. Let me go to the. Okay, let me show you my screen. Oh, this is the greatest 38.5. Right, someone finished the 38.5%. And I think if you're around 10, you're fine. But most people are around 10. But if you're less than 10, 5.5, 5.3. And who's this? Fernandez? Jalen, are you here? You haven't done anything yet. Maybe not even the class.
I think they have 2 different accounts, maybe, because one says 9.7.
Oh, really? Hold on a second, let me check. They do assign me view here. This one. But this is not my class though. This is someone else's class. I don't want to see this one. That's why I. No, let's make sure all of you not in the other class. You're in this class. Cause that's our class. Make sure your name is in the right place. It's a TR, it's a Tuesday and Thursday. With a course ID 175197. All right, so this is Dalen. Is Dalen here? 0.8 and Nasser 0.9. Well, let's only see the homework. Yeah, Jalen, of course, not so good. I'll email Jalen, see what's going on. 2.2 is not so good. This is Renlan. 0.7, David. You're jeopardizing yourself. Oh, that's myself. I just registered to see from your point of view. Chantel, 0.9, no good. Aja, 0, no good. 2.9, Sadia, no good. 0.7, Barry. 8.2, Chantel. Chantel, I think I registered late. 5.6, Mamadou. 4.6, Paris. What a beautiful name. 9.6, David again. 2.1, Trina. 8.2, Brittany. Amanda, 6.5. Andy, 9.8. Ricardo, 6.4. Samantha, 4.6. Mary M, 3.5. Mizat, 7.3. Kimbia, 8.5. Okay, make sure you should, right, see this 38 point something, 29, looks good. Yeah. 20%. 38%. Abdullah, 38.5% already. Anyway, guys, yeah, keep it up to make sure. I think you have a quiz come up, right? Let me see. Our quiz on 24th. Yeah. Exam 1 is on March 4th. All right, exam will have time. Exams will be like this. It will open at a certain time, so then you can start at any time in your convenience. But you have to find yourself like 2 hours, continuous hours. So once you start, you cannot pause. Once you start, you have to finish it in 2 hours. So they will give you, usually they give you 1 weekend. They give you 2 days at least to finish it. So in 2 days, you can pick any 2 hours for yourself to finish the exam. That's my experience.
Oh, the professor.
Yeah.
The exams are online?
Yeah. But the final will be on campus, in person, final.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but exam 1, I think we'll have 2 exams. Exam 1, exam 2 will be online during a weekend. So everybody takes this course, taking the exams during 1 weekend. But you can pick any 2 hours during 1 weekend. Okay, anyone has any questions? Jada?
Professor,
Yeah.
how can we be sure that we're on the roster? I can see myself in the class, but I don't know if I saw my name there when you were scrolling.
Oh, hold on a second. Let me see. Jada, S-I-M-M-S. Let's find your last name. S-I-M-M-S. Oh, yeah, I don't see you. But you registered into this class, did you? You registered on my open math, right?
Yeah, and I can do assignments, and I'm in the class on my end. I just didn't see my name, so I was concerned.
So your last name is S-I-M-M-S. Oh, here. I saw you. You're here. Do you see yourself?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. All right. Anyone has any questions? So 34, we're supposed to have 40 people, so I'm missing 7 people. Let me see which 7 I'm missing. Oh, Chantel is not here. Giovanna is not here. So if you cannot make it to class, make sure you watch the video, class video. So. Okay, if you don't have any questions, just go to my open math, start to do your homework. Let me see this. Anna is not here. One, two. Yeah. Okay. So most of us are here, so which is good. All right. Okay, if you don't have any questions, just go ahead, start my open math homework. Questions, I'm here. We can talk about. Okay, randomly. So, do you have any questions? I understand you have some Wi-Fi problem. Do you have any questions? Let me stop recording.